one.
Tesla, oof, man, Tesla's a tough one because Tesla is just gonna obey
Oh,
some levels.
crazy,
Tesla's
right?
more of a, I like to do Tesla day trading rather than the chart itself, but we'll still look at the chart obviously for doing long terms. I don't like swinging Tesla. Very expensive, very expensive. But anyways,
Yeah.
so to reiterate here, since I just started the recording, for Nvidia, I mean, the confirmation upwards I would use the 307.62 level to play till the 302.12.13 on a short-term time frame. I'm talking about scalping here, and then possibly play up to the 318 level. Now a break of the 312.3 level, you have a small resistance here at the 314 level, but really you can see a test of that 318. Um, Now, that will also be further confirmed when this does happen by your MACD over here starting to point upwards, or at least trying to slope or curl upwards. And then you'll get a confirmation, another one with the green dot that you see here on the MACD, this for the specific MACD that I'm using. And then you'll also see RSI starting to point up as well. So, I mean, not in a terrible spot. I mean, I'd keep an eye on it. I'd keep an eye on it for sure. Um, Again, with it having tested that daily MA8, EMA8 again, it'd be kind of weary to see which direction it goes. I'd say it's more of a 50-50 at the moment. I mean, the MACD is still not curling fully yet, and I mean, RSI is still in overbought territory. So let's see what it does. Shorter time frame wise, let's see if there's anything we can really tell from the shorter time frame. Not, you shouldn't really be able to tell much. But I mean, do you see how the trend line that we drew um, originally, if you had drawn this trend line, you still would have been able to draw it around this area, and you would have had this line coming around here. You could have seen that this would have been the bottom of the channel and tested that for scalps upwards, if we had charted this prior to that, and then you would have seen that this would have been the top established by that, and then the previous area that we took it off of. And you could play the up and downs on the channel as well, which is sometimes works out well, sometimes does not. I mean, as you can see here, we reached the top of the channel. Yes, you could have grabbed puts there. And yeah, I mean, if you're day trading, that's a solid like couple dollar drop, $2 drop. You would be able to get a decent amount out of um, the scalp. And then if you held longer, then yeah, you got a decent amount out of the scalp. So this is how you can also use the patterns if you draw them. Let's see. Yeah, you would have been able to establish the pattern from here, and slightly had a small prediction area for this area. Um, and then if you use Fibonacci retracement or you established your own supports and resistances, you could have played off of those as well. But it'll be interesting to see how NVIDIA is going to hold the 301 and 300. You also have to remember that any large number, like whole number, is going to just be a psychological support area. So 300 area and then this 301 area support. Let's see how it holds there. This might definitely be a good one to watch for a scalp. Confirmation of an entry would be breakup of here. If you want to scalp 301.51, if you want to be safer, you can wait till here, 301.68. Um, Again, this might move in pre-market. That's why I don't like to do my watch lists overnight until there's pre-market movement. That way you can get some more better entry and exits. But yeah, that's basically NVIDIA for you. You said you wanted to take a look at Tesla?
Yeah, Tesla, yeah. Sure.
Let's take a look at Tesla. So I personally, I don't know if you guys remembered, I alerted the puts for Tesla a couple days ago as like a lottery play more of. Now, I believe that Tesla was highly oversold or highly overbought, sorry. So I decided to go with the puts as more of a lotto play because you know how expensive Tesla is and how expensive it ends up being for contracts, especially now that it's in the thousand range. When did I alert these? Did I alert them November 12th? Do you guys remember when I alerted those? Let me take a look. So we'll just go over why I alerted those. Where are they? We alerted these on the 11th. Okay, yeah. So on the 11th, this is I believe around this time is when I alerted it. So basically your MACD was starting to point down a little bit on the shorter time frames, and if you looked on the larger time frames, it was still continuing downwards. There was no indication that Tesla was going to have a reversal back up. So the chances of it coming back down were high, but it was still a risky play with the amount of volatility and movement that Tesla has, as you guys are familiar with. And I mean, the contracts, they move a lot too. So if you take a look at the 1 hour chart, your MACD was starting to point down. Despite it having curled up, it reached a resistance point over here, and it could not clear and confirm back up. Now, the MACD was pointing down, your RSI started pointing down, and if you started looking at the shorter time frames as well, you would have seen that it had reached basically the peak on the MACD if you looked on the shorter time frame on the 30-minute and seen that it was also reaching the peak in the RSI area. Now, this was also further confirmed by the rejection of the EMA 20 here. The green line that you see, it was a rejection of the EMA 20 there. So there was not enough momentum, not enough movement from Tesla to be able to break up towards and break out. So you got that confirmation from not only the rejection, then further a little bit later, you got the confirmation by the MACD lines crossing, and you're getting that red dot, and you're starting to see red on the MACD, starting to curl down, RSI starting to curl down eventually as well. So that's why we did the Tesla puts. I mean, I did alert them as a lotto play again because it was just risky. But they did reach, I think, about 100% at peak. I'm not 100% sure what they reached at peak. But so looking at where Tesla is now, um, you know, again, this will depend on pre-market movement. But I mean, at the moment, it wants a little bit test here. It looks like it's going to establish a little base here. Your confirmation, I would use 1037 for a push up to this level, 1042 for a small scalp if you're going to do that. But I mean, your MACD is trying to curl, so let's see if Tesla can confirm, then I mean you could see a big push back up. Your main confirmation level looks to be 147 for the bigger move up. But let's see if we can confirm that with a different candle. You could use 137 as a fronting candle too. Yeah, that 137 area for a bigger push up. But otherwise, I mean, I'd be scared a little bit for going long on Tesla at the moment because your MACDs are still pointing down, and especially on the daily chart. You look at the daily, it's still pointing down. Now, if you look at the daily levels, you want Tesla to really confirm above and hold above these MACDs. I mean, sorry, these MAs that we have here, or EMA on this chart, excuse me. Which it's not doing right now. It's trying to decide what to do. So I'd be careful with Tesla at the moment and going long. Let it decide what it wants to do for going long. And then for short term, though, you can use those levels to scalp it. And then obviously, let's see, a break of this level. It used to be 1,000 earlier, but now it's before this candle occurred and before this day occurred. But now it's going to be 987.36. You could expect probably a big sell down if we break that support level there to probably around here, which is 920. And if 920 breaks, oof, it might look a little bit ugly for Tesla for a little bit. You're going to have a pretty decent fall, I think, if 920 support breaks. Probably, I want to say once it tests that 8 area, that 800 area, the 898 area, you can have a big move down. I mean, if you're looking on the daily chart, you see that MA200 is pretty down there. It's at the 738 area, and Tesla has rode above that MA200 for quite some time for the time being, since, let's see, around May. So it's been up there for a little bit, so I'd be a little weary. Now, that 920 level, if you look at the 4 hour, it corresponds with the 200 MA. So around this area, you're going to have that strong support, which if we break this support here, that 987 level, uh, most likely you're going to have a bounce at this level. The 200 MA, pretty strong bounce area usually, or rejection area. So expect to see some support there if Tesla ends up going down there. But yeah, that's about it with Tesla. Let me see if there's anything different on this chart.
What about a firm? That's had a lot of
Affirm.
nice action.
Affirm has had a lot of nice action, yeah, for sure. Let's take a look at Affirm. Or we'll load it on the other chart. Well, Affirm had a nice bounce off of its MA50 on this chart. But I mean, there's not enough data on the daily to really establish something. But let's take a look with the Fibonacci retracement levels if we can see anything different on it. Okay, so I'm seeing support trend line. Oops, wrong spot. Let's see if we wick from ay ay. Sorry. Nope, it doesn't like it. The magnet's too strong. Come on. Nope. God damn it. It keeps wicking to the wrong spot. Yes, this is very important, wicking it to the right spot. It is very important. There we go. Okay,
Hey,
let's
Steady.
see. Yeah, what's up?
Hey, do you think it's a good idea to try to learn how to do the Fibonacci retracement stuff? Because I don't know how to use.
Okay, so Fibonacci retracement, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's only good if you're actually going to be using them. A lot of people have them on and then mix them up with your support and resistances. It's good to do that, but like it's hard to do that because it's not very easy to have both your Fibonacci retracement level and your support and resistances that you're manually putting in. So you see why I have two separate charts is because I use the Fibonacci retracement just for this chart, and then when I have my own chart and I'm charting something out, I chart out my own support and resistances just to see which ones end up holding.
Okay.
So it depends what strategy you're going to use. Fibonacci retracement is really good on larger time frames because it tends to respect it a little bit better. And on the shorter time frames, it's going to be a little bit wild. You're going to have some candles that are going to break through and stuff like that. But again, I mean, whatever works best for you. Fibonacci retracement is a good form of charting, but not that's not saying that the other ones aren't.
How do you set up like the? Because I think you can set up the Fibonacci retracements like anywhere on the chart, right?
Yeah, so you can set them up anywhere on the chart. I don't use the manual setting up button, which is going to be somewhere here. Where is it? 10.6 does it that way. I like to do it through, oh, here it is. So you pick a bottom part and you would pick like the top portion here and it would basically be an outline of it. Do you see how they match up? They're
Yeah, that's
matching
pretty
up my
easy.
lines. Yep. So you pick a bottom and you pick a top support. You pick a bottom support and top resistance level, and then you're gonna do it like that.
Okay.
I just have something that'll custom do it for me every time I load up a chart, so I don't have to do it each
Okay.
time. So yeah, Fibonacci retracement is a good technique. I like using it. I use both, like I said. It just depends what you're looking at. But it does make things clear sometimes, clearer. So, I mean, like for example, if you're looking here, I would say that the Fibonacci is, I'd say that it's pretty decent. It's pretty decent. The lines respect it to a certain extent. I mean, you see a little wick up break up over there, but I mean, again, when you're looking at these breaks happening, you'll know when it's a strong momentum break or like a weak break or anything like that. So that just depends on
To
when it's
gauge
occurring.
that, is it price action, volume?
Here's my volume. Right down here, do you see these green and red candles here? So
Yeah.
you see that the volume spike is very high, but majority of the volume was selling as the candle was red. And then do you see how the next one, the candle's green, that means majority of the volume was buying and it was green. Now, I only use volume to see if something has volume occurring. I don't really use it to see whether it's more selling or buying volume. I could just see that from the chart itself and like seeing with the candles itself. So like for example, if you're having majority selling here, you don't need to know that. You can just see that there's a lot of volume. Typically, this is good to know for something. For example, prime example is going to be lunchtime. Do you see here how during lunchtime volume dies off a little bit, and then volume dies throughout the day for a firm, and then picks up during the end of the day and picks up during the morning times. That's the best times to play, and that's the mainly the times that I usually trade at, mainly because there's a lot of volume and a lot of movement happening. Otherwise, when there's low volume, like here, you can see you just have consolidation, and you don't really want to trade during this time. I mean, you can try and catch these movements here, but like the it's going to be much harder. So it's always good to play when there's more volume occurring and stuff like that. And then for pennies, like when I have my scanner pick up some penny stocks and stuff like that. For example, we'll just go with METX. And I want to see if that penny stock has a lot of movement going on, has a lot of volume in it, or if there's no volume. Like these things are key in knowing for, excuse me, for trading. You want to know when there's good volume, when there's no volume, you don't want to really be trading. And I mean, you use trading with in addition to your other indicators to help you. So that's what I use. I don't really use the level 2 data. Um, I think Harmony uses it. I mean, we don't really use it that often unless we have something like You want to see if it's going to push through a support and stuff. You just want to see how big the walls are. And what I mean by walls is like a sell wall or a buy wall that's put up by sellers or buyers. But I don't really use level 2 data.
You just eyeball support and resistance levels, or
Yeah, I typically can eyeball them pretty easily. That just comes with time, man, to be honest with you. That just comes with how many charts you look at. And I mean, after looking at charts for so long, it's just pretty easy to find support and resistance level eyeballs. And I mean, the more you start doing your charting and stuff, the more easier it'll become for you. Same with pattern recognition and everything like that. The more, I mean, with anything in life, the more you do it, the more you'll get used to it and the more familiar you'll be with
practice
it.
makes perfect, does it?
Sorry?
Practice makes perfect, right?
Practice makes perfect. Exactly, man. Practice makes perfect. And I mean, it applies to not only trading, but everything in life. So
Do you prefer large cap stocks, mid cap stocks? I mean,
I play anything with volume and anything's chart that I like. Anything with chart that I like. And I mean, if it's something that's like a penny stock, that's going to be like a pump stock, pump and dump type of situation. For example, let's go with, I mean, I haven't played a pump and dump in a pretty long
Clove.
time actually. Clove, yeah, Clove, for example. Um, I'm not really looking to, and I mean, if you see that's been barcoding lately, let's take a look. I highly doubt there's much volume happening. Yep, not much volume happening on Clove. You see people got a little excited here. Yep, you can see about the volume increase that's larger than the average volume. I'd say the average volume for the day is around here, which is pretty low right now. Clove actually looks kind of bad. It looks like it's in a mini bear flag here. It might break down. But yeah, it's just honestly it's whatever's chart I like. And whatever usually pops up on my scanner, or whatever I have on my screen that I see. Like scalps. I'll pick a couple of stocks that I like to have throughout the day. You saw how I had 6 charts on this screen. I have 6 charts on another screen as well. So those are things that I'm typically watching to see that if I want to scalp it or not. Otherwise, I have my scanners pick up something that I'm not looking at on my screen. And then for swings, I basically chart things out beforehand. Like for example, um, gap. I have it charted out beforehand, so I like the chart. I wanted to do a swing on it. When we did AMC, I think it might still be saved on this. Yeah, AMC was still saved on here too. And then this was going to be my swing levels, but then on my other chart, I had my intraday trading levels, which is when I told you guys that one day where I'm like, watch for the break for AMC I don't even remember what level it was. I feel like it was maybe somewhere here. I don't remember. It was an intraday level. Um, but I had
44.
that. I think was it 44? I don't remember. That was a couple days ago.
I think
Let's
Neo and
see.
AMC were
So
both
do you see
44.
the levels that I have on here completely different from the other levels? I feel like it was the breakup of here or something. I don't remember exactly. But yeah, we had a nice play on AMC. I don't even remember how much that brought. I'm pretty sure we got a good return on that one. Um, oh no, sorry, my bad. That was the one where I stepped away, but I said keep an eye on the levels. So I keep my intraday trading levels on this chart, just to keep it a little bit easier. And it gets too clogged up if you have too many levels on your charts. So you don't want to mix up your intraday and your like long-term levels too much. But yep, so there's AMC, there's Tesla, there's Affirm, and there is what was the other one that we did? Nvidia. Any other tickers you guys want to chart or take a look at?
how about snow?
Snow. I haven't played Snow in a while. Oh,
Yeah.
shit. Well, this is all up in the air. We're gonna have to look at the shorter time frames for sure now. And this is where Fibonacci retracement comes in handy sometimes if your script
Hey,
does it. Let's
quick,
see
if you
if
don't mind
this.
me asking, you mentioned your scanners. So what all do
Yes.
you scan for? Like aggressive movement, like
So
real?
my scanner, it depends how you have it set up. I use a different setting than Harmony has a little bit. Mine scans for more so volume pickup, major movements, yeah, large candle movements, MACD crossing, RSI crossing. Harmony has a good setup as well. Now you can adjust your scanner to however you want it. Um, And I mean that would be the best way just to like figure out which type of scanner works best for you. Now, keep in mind I don't take everything that pops up on the scanner. I just use it to see other stocks that I don't have up on my screen at the moment. And then I pull up the chart, see if I like it. If I like it, then I end up taking something on it. If I don't like it, I just skip it, move on to the next one. I think
Mhm.
there's a scanner in here too. I've just never used it. Yeah, you do have a scanner in here too. I've never used this, but you can set it up with a lot of different things. I have no idea how to use this one, but let's see. Yeah, you can change the market cap, you can change the average volume. Okay, this has a good amount of settings. Wow. Yeah, there's a good amount of settings on this one. I've just never used it. So you see how you can set it to the RSI, you can set it to different indicators that you have. So pretty good scanners.
Is that Thinkorswim?
No, this is TradingView.
Oh,
Yeah, TradingView. I don't use Thinkorswim's charts. I've never used them, so I'm not 100% sure how good they are. I just have been using TradingView for as long as I can remember. I personally like TradingView the most. I think TradingView is probably one of the best charting tools out there.
well, what do you use to actually trade?
Oh, I use Webull and Robinhood.
So you chart everything on. Yeah, I was gonna say
Chart
because you'll learn
everything on
profit
TradingView.
screenshot
Always
for
have
Robin.
TradingView on. Either whatever account I have available in front of me, I end up using. Sometimes my Robinhood one, sometimes my Webull one. Webull one I don't really take screenshots of. I don't take screenshots all the time, but whenever I have something and I remember to take it, I'll take the screenshot.
Yeah, the
But let's
trading
take a
before
look
all
at
the charting and
Affirm.
stuff, and you already kind of have that down for when
For
you
sure, for
actually
sure.
trade, right?
Yeah, so TradingView, what I try to do is, again, I take a look at the levels that are already established, and then I go in pre-market, and then I make my levels in the pre-market for the week. Because then I use, we're looking at things to scalp and stuff, so I want to create my intraday levels for something. Let's see, I feel like I created some intraday levels for something recently. I can't remember exactly. Was it MRK? Nope. Was it Facebook? Hmm.
What are your time frames for intraday? 10 minute.
Intraday 5, 15, 30. And sometimes, really depending on where it is, I may end up using the 4 hour and the daily. Maybe. It just really depends if we're testing like a daily support level, like a 200 MA area. Because keep in mind, some of your resistance levels in intraday trading can be from an MA 50, 200, or 20 from the daily level, from the 4 hour. Like, I mean, if you see here on Facebook, you can see already that the resistance is going to be the MA 150. This one is, or sorry, this is the MA 50. And then for the 4 hour, it's going to be the MA 200. So you can tell that this is going to be a pretty hefty resistance point because you got two MAs meeting there. Um, you can go look at your other levels as well just to confirm there's not another MA there. Let's see, maybe the weekly MA might be there. And you have to keep in mind the larger the time frame, generally, the stronger the level's gonna be. So like the 200 MA on the daily compared to the 200 MA on the 5 minute is going to be stronger on the daily, obviously, or more of an important level on the daily.
Okay.
So going back to snow. This is going to be a tough one because when you have your intraday, I mean pre-market level, that's really going to determine where you want to enter in terms of that's what I like to use for entering for scalping. So, I mean, as of right now, you don't really have much besides this candle here at the 387.5 level. You're looking at the 15-minute MACD trying to point down. RSI looks pretty high up. You want to see if it's gonna. I would basically just watch to see if it holds the EMA 8 here. Um, and if it holds the EMA 8, then I would be going in for a scalp maybe, but this is obviously going to be a high risk play. It's going to have to be followed by good volume, good momentum, and that's the only way that I would enter this one. Yeah, it's really hard to give you a level here because you don't really have much until the pre-market starts, um, and you can't even
Is that
use the
what
larger time
MACD
frames.
is? With momentum? Is that a momentum thing or?
MACD is I forgot what it stands for. Like, we gotta Google this. What
Moving average, divergence,
MACD? Ah,
convergence.
yes. Moving average, yes. Convergence and divergence, correct. So this is gonna be basically telling you that it's more so gonna be selling coming in, selling pressure, more so buying pressure coming in over here, where it's pointing upwards and where it's green. Now, for example, let's take a look at a firm, or I mean snow over here. You see that it's testing its EMA 200 on the 4 hour, followed by some strong movement upwards of buying, and you see it's further confirmed when it breaks up over here, and you get the nice break up here. So good bounce here. So good example there. Good example of selling pressure coming in for a little bit right here. You see that it's accompanied by the MACD turning red with the red dot pointing downwards, some selling pressure volume coming in. Then you can also see RSI starting to point down. We come over here, test the EMA 20, and it holds the EMA 20. And then you can see that it never crosses back down, and then you get a further confirmation of upward push from here with the MACD and the RSI. So that's what I typically use the MACD for. MACD is really good for larger time frames generally, and shorter time frames too. I like it the best for larger time frames though, because it's pretty clear sometimes. If you have a good MACD setup, let me see. I think CVS was having a good MACD setup. Let's take a look. Was it CVS? Nope, was not
If
CVS.
not, you can look at Twitter.
Twitter. All right, we'll put up Twitter real quick. I can't remember what MACD I was looking at, but there's a really clean MACD setup coming up. No, it wasn't this one either. I mean, this one's not terrible, but it's not as strong upward push. Let's see. Twitter.
Look at the
Twitter's
daily.
getting there. Getting there. Let's take a look at the daily. Oh, okay, perfect. Good. This is a good one. Now, Twitter's trying to. This is a good example of where you want to keep an eye on Twitter for a confirmation up. Okay, so first one level that I'm going to look at is either this, you can use 55.31 area, or I would use the wick of this candle here, which is going to be 55.66 area. Um, or you can front run it too with going with above the EMA 8 and use this candle here, which would be about 53.97. And once you get that further confirmation with the MACD converging, your RSI pointing up hard, your green candles coming in on the MACD here, you can expect a strong upward push. Um, Probably till this EMA 20 here, 57 level, then your 59 level, and so on. Yeah, Twitter actually looks pretty decent. Yeah, this is a good one,
The
Ginger.
wedge
I'd
on
keep
the
an eye on
daily.
it. Huh?
It's in a wedge on the daily.
Yeah, I'm just
The other
drawing
way
this
up.
for drawing 6 here. Yeah, it could have a nice bounce up here actually, yeah. I'd keep a close eye on Twitter for sure. Twitter looks pretty good. Let's take a look at the weekly. I want to see what's doing at the weekly. So, if you see, you can start to see a nice little pattern emerging here on the weekly. I would actually, yeah, I'd keep an eye on this for a bounce. This would be a good bounce spot for Twitter. If not here, then to the 49 level. If not there, then here, obviously. But high chances of it bouncing here. Let's take a look the last time it fell too. So I mean, you could be at the bottom of a channel here. Yeah, this might be a good spot. I'd keep an eye on Twitter for sure. Is there anything else? Anything else you guys want to take a look at? Let me see. In the meantime, was it Gap or something? I was trying to look at.
How about some healthcare stocks? I don't know.
Oh,
What with
healthcare, I stay away from. I
yeah?
typically will stay away from healthcare stocks mainly because too affected by news. And I just don't like playing healthcare stocks in general. So there's two types of stocks that I'll stay away from sectors, mainly airlines and cruise lines. I don't play those. I don't like to play those generally. Now, the only thing we are in at the moment is a BA long, which is a debit spread. Again, I don't like it, but that's why, I ended up going with the debit spread. I think a 2023 debit spread for where BA is at, it's pretty decent, but too affected by news, and I personally just don't like playing anything healthcare related or as I said, cruise lines or airlines. I think Zero doesn't like playing healthcare either. I don't know about Harmony. I think Harmony's invested in them, but he typically stays away from scalping or swinging anything on healthcare companies. Anything doing with health. Sorry.
So what do you like to trade?
Anything and everything besides that. Literally anything and everything besides that, man. You see, I'm in everything, man. I'll pick Facebook. I'll pick retail, tech. I'll take anything that looks good.
How about
Um,
some Facebook? Well,
Facebook. Okay. Ooh, that Facebook play that
another
we had a couple
platform.
weeks ago. Very good play. Beautiful play.
Yeah.
Like I think we caught it at the bottom of the channel. I think I actually used 10/6's chart for Facebook that time. Let me see, unless I have it on here. This is Facebook. Let's go to the daily. Or I might have used this chart. We'll see. But basically, we had a nice breakup on Facebook here on the 200 MA. This doesn't look as clean because, I mean, it's not charted fully. Um, but it was going to be a high risk play. Market was coming down heavy. Everyone was debating whether or not we will bounce or not. But the way that futures looked really good. So we entered those Facebook long calls about here, I think, either here or here. And we had a nice gap up. We got a couple, I think like 100+% on that play if I remember correctly, but let me check 10/6's chart. I think I used his chart for that. Let's see. I might have used this chart. I'm not 100% sure actually. Let's see. I think I did. Maybe. I don't remember whose chart I used. But anyways, Facebook was a little risky play. We wanted above that MA 200 line, which is where we wanted to stay above. And Facebook, I mean, still looks good for long. I mean, I'd wait for a confirmation for reentry. I would personally either use this level here from this candle, which would be 344 area, or, I mean, here, let's see if we can get it exact for you guys. So 343.98. You could use this candle here for a safer entry, and then this would be your, I guess, safest entry in terms of going long on Facebook. I mean, Facebook should have a nice break up. I mean, if it can continue, you take a look at the MACD over here. MACD is pointing up. Your RSI trying to point up. I don't know what this is for 10/6. I think this might be his volume. What
It's
is
like some
that?
sort of momentum.
It looks like a TTM squeeze. It might be a TTM squeeze. But yeah, the Facebook 4 hour daily. I'd look at to take a look at the levels. I mean, 4 hour looks pretty good too. Your MACD is trying to curl. I mean, you got a very mini bull flag, I guess you can call it here. So yeah, keep an eye on Facebook for sure too. Facebook wants to break up, and Facebook wants to break up hard from the looks of it. I mean, you've got the 4 hour, 200 MA or EMA. This might be. I don't know if this. I actually have no idea what colors his stuff is. Let's take a look. That's his EMA 50, or that's his MA 50. So on the daily, it's the MA 50, and on here, it's the MA 200 for the 4 hour. So watch this level mainly for Facebook. Facebook actually looks good for long as well.
Nice.
Definitely keep an eye on it. And judging from his momentum TTM squeeze thing here, I don't know how to use this 100%, but it looks to be like it's going to try and attempt to squeeze. So definitely keep an eye on Facebook. I mean, I would use, let's see what I would use for personally for a good jump.
Might
This
be
is
a
where I
good
would
time
take
for a
out the,
swing.
yeah, but we want confirmation. I will not enter a swing unless we get confirmation. So
What's your confirmation on this?
that's what I'm looking for right now, confirmation level. Either the 346.79 area, that's going to be a pretty safer entry, or we can use break up. We'll just wait for a break up above the MA 400 on the 4 hour and the MA 50 on the daily. I'm going to want to wait for a strong break up. And I mean, depending on the levels that we have, I might either use this level, 342.80, or just a strong breakup. It just depends what it looks like when we see it happening. And then our stop loss would probably be break below here. I'd keep it right here. This is going to be 333 area. What is that? I think that's his MA, MA9. So somewhere around here would be your stop loss. Not a bad Not a bad play for a potential push to 355 area. I would use as a price target. 355, you've got nice uh, resistance area for it here, 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 and probably somewhere back here too, yeah. So use that area as a profit taking area. Price target, first one, second one I would keep here. 360 area, not 361. I'd make it 360 because of the psychological number. Um, then yeah, you could have another one right here as another price target, 366 area. So the Facebook could have a nice move up. Again, I'd wait for confirmation. So have your 4 hour and your daily MAs that you're looking at. Make sure there's a strong push above it. If you see that both the resistances are showing up on the daily and the 4 hour, I mean, a break above that would be pretty significant. And you can see it's trying to be confirmed by the MACD here and then by the daily candle on here as well. I mean, let's take a look at Facebook's weekly. Ooh, that's looking to be a nice setup
No,
on
good.
Facebook's weekly. This might be a nice setup. If you can get confirmation, yeah, this might be a nice setup. 347, you could also use the weekly resistance area as a confirmation right here for this green candle here. Yeah, a break up above that, you can have a nice little push up for Facebook for sure. Oh yeah, also for the Facebook swing, the weekly 200 MA was lining up very well as well. Like, I mean, if we look at the daily chart and the 4 hour, you see how it's getting a little bit messy and it's hard to tell whether Facebook was going to bounce off of this area or not, like cleanly. Another way is you just look at a larger time frame to get a much cleaner picture as well. And I mean, if you look at the larger time frame, you had that 200 MA test, and typically, as
Good
mentioned,
balance.
200 MA on a larger time frame is generally stronger. So this is the weekly 200 MA. So I mean the chances of it bouncing were pretty high. So yeah, that's why there was a nice bounce there. Again, it is risky taking that trade. But I mean, if you look at everything in combination with it on the shorter time frames, it would have been confirmed. And I mean, that's where we come in and we're like, we assess which one's too risky or how risky it is to enter. And then if it's too risky, I typically don't alert too risky stuff to you guys. Or if it is risky, I obviously let you guys know this is going to be a little risky play. But yeah, there was a good bounce off of the 200 MA there.
What about Spotify?
Oh, Spotify. I hate those contracts, man.
Yeah,
Very
To a good
expensive. Very expensive. And I think they
they
have a
can pay
huge
out pretty
spread.
well though.
They do pay out very well. They do pay out very well. I mean, yeah, your shorter time frames look like they're setting up for a nice little squeeze as well. Your 30-minute looks decent. 30-minute looks pretty interesting, actually. If you take a look at the 30-minute, your MACD setting up. It looks like it wants to push. Your TTM squeeze looks like it wants to push, but the concern is that your RSI is a little oversold. Sorry, overbought.
Mm.
So you want to wait for that confirmation, and that's where you're going to start looking at the larger time frames to see. Okay, the larger time frame, what is this telling me? The 15-minute, not much. Still looks like it's still sitting there. It wants to decide what it wants to do. The MACD looks pretty flat, and the RSI is not convincing enough. TTM squeeze not convincing enough. 1 hour looks like it's maybe flatlining here. Let's take a look at the 4 hour. Okay, this is telling me something here. The 4 hour looks like it wants to squeeze. Your TTM squeeze looks to be setting up. Your MACD looks to be setting up. Yes, RSI is in the over bought territory, but that can be ignored if the confirmation is there. We can see that there was a little false breakout here. Now, this is the things that can be, depending on the stock, can be either detrimental to you, having false breakouts. That's why, taking a look and making sure there's momentum sometimes and it holds the breakout levels is very important, and that's where the intraday breakout levels come to be very important. Um, so we see that there is an MA coming up here as acting as a resistance. Now I'm going to use that as a confirmation level for entry, right? So I'm going to take a look at this candle here. I like this candle. It's a little bit above that MA. So I would use the break up above 286.47 as an entry point for going long or scalping. Again, we're using the daily level here. And the shop or Spotify contracts are a little wild and expensive, so you want to be careful on what time frame contracts you are playing. So the daily doesn't really tell you too much, but I mean it does give you that confirmation level, and I like the chart on the 4 hour better to watch for waiting for that confirmation level. Let's take a look at the weekly here. Weekly looks not really telling me much either. If Spotify can hold this area, um, it's basically retesting a little breakout level from here. If it can hold this area and have a nice little push-up confirmation entry there, breakout from here, 304 area, could have a nice little push. You see that this area typically, what is this from? 302, I would say, to 305 area has a decent amount of resistance, and you can see that synonymous with these peaks over here. Once we can clear that area, could get a nice push up to the 318, 320 area. So this would be also a good one to keep an eye on for a breakout. Now, let's see if we can see a trend breakdown on this. Um, seems to have maybe a line over there. Let's see if we can catch one out or not. Oops. I have to exit out of that. There we go. Okay, let's see. Do we have a trend line establishment? Yeah. Now this is a good example to show you guys that trend lines and everything in terms of patterns and indicators are general. Always remember they are general. You see that it broke beneath it here. A good example of why not to always rely on them. They're just there as like a general thing. But it did happen to end up breaking back above it. Oh, this might not have been put in the best spot. Let's see. That might be better. Yeah, that's fine. We'll use that one. But yeah, I would use a breakdown of the 275 area as watching for a breakdown, probably to test the next MA areas or the next support areas for this. If we end up charting it out, you can see we got some support areas here. This is going to be a good support area. Oh, what am I doing? We'll just use this. Let's see where our support and resistances are. There you go. You've got some support and resistances up over here. So you could use the breakdown of 272.33 also for a longer, or on the longer aspect of it for a breakdown to probably 251 area to test this area. But otherwise, let's see if we have anything synonymous with what we saw on the 4 hour chart on the other chart. So you could use the level here that it's giving you, 284.66 from this candle as well, as your confirmation of an upward movement. But again, be careful with Spotify. You know these contracts are pretty expensive. Ooh, MACD again. There's your green little push coming. Let's see if it can confirm or not. That RSI is still flatlined though. Let's see if the shorter time frames. I don't think we saw anything on the shorter time frames, but generally your larger time frame is going to be more of the larger movement that's going to happen. This is only going to tell us a short term. So, I mean, the 15-minute looks like it also wants to squeeze, but no confirmation on it yet. 15-minute level, intraday level, I would be using 281.14 right there. The EMA 8. Breakup of that, you could get a nice push to up here. I would use this as a profit taking spot and 284 as a profit taking spot for scalps, and then hold some runners from there. But yeah, Spotify could be a good one to watch.
That's relatively new, right?
Coinbase, yes. I don't think there's much on the daily. I don't remember when it IPO'd, but let's take a look.
Yeah, how would you
Yeah, you could say this is a massive cup. You could say this is a massive cup, and this is the handle forming right here. This could be said that this is a massive cup. Now, let's take a look at Coinbase. Now, Coinbase and tickers like having to do with a different market are obviously going to be a little bit different because this is going to be heavily reliant on crypto.
If you don't mind, quick question about this.
Yes.
Part of the reason why I ask about Coinbase is new stocks, right? Like,
Right.
is there any length of time that you would wait before trading
I
them that
would
you feel
wait for a
comfortable with?
lockout period to be over. Lockout period is basically when investors, early investors and institutions that bought during the IPO price, which is generally lower than the price that it is released on, can sell out. They have a certain lockout period. I believe it just depends on the company. It could be anywhere from 90 days to 180 days. It just depends on the IPO. You have to go read up what their lockout date's going to be. And I would go after that because generally those people sell out once their lockout period is over to lock in their profits because they're almost always up.
Right.
And that's when you're going to see a little tank or sometimes a big tank in that company, and that would be a good buying point if you believe in that company and if it's something you're looking long term into. Generally, I don't really play newer IPOs. I let them like create their chart and then go from there because I like using the chart for data. Now, IPOs all depends on how much you believe in that company. If you want to be an investor in it, that's a completely different outlook that you're going to be having on IPOs.
Right. Then that's
Um,
fundamental
and I
analysis
mean,
and all that, right?
IPOs I would also say are kind of a gamble too at the beginning because you don't really know what it's going to do. There's no levels, there's no MAs, there's nothing that you can really use rather than just buying and selling. That's literally all you can do. I mean, like when Coinbase came out, no one could tell you that, yeah, it's going to pump and then it's going to dump. It's very hard to tell you that because an IPO comes out, everybody thinks like, oh, it's going to be worth a lot more, a lot more. This candle right here, pure gamble, pure gamble. Right here, all pure gamble. Now, when it dipped and it started to create a base around this area, then as an investor, I'd be like, okay, it generally likes to stay around this area. I'll buy a couple shares here, wait to see what it does. Nope, no confirmation back up, comes back. I'll wait. It comes to test my area again. I'll buy a little bit more. Does it again, buy a little bit more, and then just hold it for the long term. I mean, if that's the way that you're looking at it from an investor's standpoint, that's how I would buy it for an investor. Or I mean,
Hmm.
if you want to wait up for the lockup period, it would be probably somewhere around here,
Is the lockup
unless
period
there's more
a
coming in.
public information thing or what?
Usually, yes, it should be.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure it always is, actually. Sorry.
So back to how you would scalp this if you would do it tomorrow. Like,
Scalp this if I were to do it tomorrow. Okay, let's take a look. So, Coinbase. I already see that there's a daily resistance level I would be watching for a breakup. I'm not going to use the level it gives me. I'm going to use the, whoops, let's go ahead and put the, oh, wrong line. I'm going to use the breakup of this level here. 348.98. Or you can just basically say 349. A breakup of there would confirm to me a break back up. And I mean, that would be confirmed also by your MACD pointing up and stuff like that. So in this case, I used the 4 hour to tell you that I was going to scalp it with that level. You could have gone in a little bit closer and seen that that level was also here as well. Now, if you want to front run it, you can, which would be a little bit riskier entry, would be right here, that 345.90 level. But the 30-minute looks like, excuse me, looks like it wants to come down. I mean, again, you'd have to wait for your confirmation. I would use this as confirmation. If I don't get that level, it doesn't come to it, I don't touch it. I let
mm,
it do its thing. Yeah, otherwise I'm not watching it. So
okay.
usually, say, for example, I have too many things on my screen. This is the part where TradingView comes in really handy. And I'm not able to watch Coinbase, but I really want to take the trade. I see that there's a resistance area here. I'm going to put an alert like this. If it goes, weird that it didn't go. That's going to tell me whatever I want it to say. Watch for entry as a reminder. So it's going to set an alert here. So when Coinbase goes and hits this area, even if this is not on my screen and I'm watching some other ticker, it's going to pop up on my screen and let me know. And that way I can watch it because it's closer to that entry spot that I want.
Okay.
So that's where Coinbase comes in handy if you don't really have time to watch anything and you want to set up alerts for spots that you want to watch in case it breaks down and you want to see your stop loss level. You can put alert there, or you want to see a breakout level, you can put an alert there, and that's where it comes in handy. You know what? I'll keep that alert in because that's actually a good spot to watch for an entry. Yeah, the
Uh,
515 don't look too hot at the moment, so I'd wait to see if it establishes a base. Short-term trend it has broken, as you can see here. But I mean, I think that's in after hours. I don't count after hour data usually.
no,
No, I typically don't count it.
why?
Because you have low volume. Not everybody can buy and sell. Institutions aren't really buying and selling. And then when the market opens and stuff like that, it's a completely different story. And this is for
Do
big tickers. Typically, this is for big tickers. I'm talking about things like Coinbase, things like Facebook, Apple, Microsoft, things like that. Now, I do use that data for intraday trading,
okay.
but I don't really count it in terms of long term.
So only if we're gonna do something quick, use pre-market and after-hours data.
Yeah, so I mean, again, this is just what I personally do. A lot of people choose to do it differently. Some people do it the same way that I do it. I use pre-market and after. Again, it's just really all ticker dependent. I mean, for example, if something has a huge drop after hours, so obviously that'll be something that's going to be of importance. Now, if something has a huge, vice versa too, you know, if it has a huge upward push after hours, that's going to be important as well. But where it's something like this, where you see that there's no volume, barely any movement, I'm not really going to use this data because it's not really helpful to me. Um, like this
Mm.
isn't telling me much. And the next morning, if once you start getting more volume and stuff, if it's still above this MA during the day in market hours, then that's more important to me than if it's above it or below it during pre-market and after hours, like right here. Like this doesn't mean much to me.
Okay, I see. Okay.
Now, if we're looking at the 5 minute, like again for intraday trading, this isn't helpful. This isn't helpful. It's going to be more helpful for some bigger ticker usually, and it's pre-market that's more helpful rather than after hours, especially since it was Friday too. Let's see, for example, Microsoft's pre-market levels were, let's take a look here, 5 minute. Okay, so Microsoft's pre-market levels were more important. So I wanted to keep an eye on right here, the 5 to 10 minutes, or even sometimes the 30 minutes before market opens. That's the more important levels that I like to look at. So I was watching here for a breakup of here, typically for an entry spot and a hold up above here, or a hold up above here. And usually this is always different depending on what ticker it is, obviously, and how violent it's going to be and how violent it's being and what day it is. If it's Friday and I'm playing 0 day contracts, I'm going to wait a little bit, wait for it to establish its trend. We see that it holds the MA 20 and we see that it holds the MA 50, I believe that. Wait, nope, this is the MA9, sorry, and I think this is the MA20. Mix them up. The green one's the MA20 and the red one's the MA9. So we see that it holds the MA20 throughout the day, and it would have been a nice trade. So when I was saying to you guys to watch for Microsoft the other day on Friday, it's because it was holding its levels pretty well, and this was one of the levels I was watching for it to break up above. This would have been full confirmation here, and around this time where I was like, watch Microsoft, nice blow up on Microsoft. This movement up was a decent amount on contracts if someone played it, especially with the 0 day contracts on Friday. Now, this volatility in the morning, this would have killed you on 0 day contracts.
Yeah.
This
Oh
would have
yeah.
definitely killed you. This would have been probably instant 50% up, all the way back down, probably 50%. This probably would have killed you, this candle right here. So sometimes it's important to wait for the ticker to establish its trend for the day. You're going to have the most violent movement in the morning at market open, and obviously your contracts are going to move like crazy. You're going to have IV up a little bit. So some traders like to wait.
Well, just buy longer term contracts.
You can do that too, but they're still going to be a little violent. All
Yeah.
contracts move to a certain extent, depending how far they are, obviously. If you're buying next week, they're still going to be a little violent. That first
Say
15
next
minutes at
month.
market
That
open.
But I also want to assess if, say, I would buy it for the next month, right? Would that also kind of whittle away at what I would also
Uh,
gain
Again,
from
you'd be able to see the contract and see if it's being violent. So I can't show you right now, obviously, because the market's not open. But tomorrow, Monday, when market opens, take a look at the contracts, see how their spreads move, and see how fast the bid and ask moves in the morning in the first 10 to 15 minutes of the market open. Typically, again, it's just very dependent on what contract it is, what ticker you're playing. But almost all tickers, if you're doing same days, or weeklies, they will be moving pretty fast.
Okay. Thank you. What about if you still have the time,
Let's
drop
see,
it
what time
or
is it? We'll do one to two more. Let's see, did I miss anyone's messages? Anyone else have any tickers you guys also want me to look at? Alex, I'll still look at your ticker, but I just want to see if anybody else has something just in case I don't miss anyone else.
Spy.
Spy? Oof, Ginger, why you like the spy so much, man? You love the spy, don't you?
hmm
Let's take a look. I honestly haven't looked at the SPY in a solid week. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I've just been trading whatever tickers I have popping up. SPY is holding up pretty decent. I want to see what we can do with the SPY on when futures open up on Sunday. That's gonna be pretty interesting. SPY, I never really look at on the larger time frame. I have Harmony to tell me that. Typically, the shorter time frame is what I'll look at it for scalping. But I'm not gonna lie, I haven't scalped SPY in a while. Besides those SPY scalp, the puts that we did, sorry, the hedges that we did. Um, let's take a look. We're gonna pull it up on here to get the fib levels real quick. Also, I did not grab that hedge based off of anything on the chart. It was just that the market didn't seem like it was in a good spot. And that's just basically intuition, which I guess you gain after seeing a lot of days in the market and stuff. Um, hmm. Okay. This is the 5 minute. Let's take a look at the. Hmm. Okay. I would say keep an eye on. So SPY did break out. You want to watch the breakout kind of retest. Sorry. Breakout retest level 467.36 you can use. That's what I would be using to see if that holds. Now, if that's going to hold, then yes, I think you can have a further continuation push upwards. The 4 hour actually is trying to confirm. Breakdown of the breakout retest level, then I think you would have a push back down. I mean, you could say this is also a cup forming here. So, I mean, SPY is looking bullish. But again, you want to see how it confirms because I mean, if you take a look at the daily here, the daily wants to come down. It looks like it's wanting to come down. So you're gonna have to use the 4 hour chart for this. See if that level breakout retest level holds the support level here for a further confirmation push upwards on the SPY. I mean, yeah, I think we're looking decently bullish if we hold that breakout level retest. Um, You got the okay 468 level. Yeah, I say we look pretty bullish on the SPY. If we hold again, if we break, then I would reconsider that. Otherwise, SPY has been riding the EMA 8 for a little bit.
hmm
Yeah, you see that it held it pretty nicely actually. This time around. And I mean, if you look at the daily chart, oof, nice move up. Very nice move up. At the time, you could have used the EMA 8 and the EMA 20 as a confirmation entry up. Break up above those over here. You see that we gapped up. I believe this was overnight move that we had probably. I would have entered here and gone long on it. You would have been front running a little bit because then you have that resistance here, or you could have used this for confirmation, this level here, the 444. That would have been a nice entry spot. And that would have been further confirmed by the MACD. I mean, you have a nice curl up on the RSI, nice hold up of the EMA 8. I think certain people did go long. I don't remember if Harmony and I don't think we did either. I don't ever alert longs or on spies, whether it be calls or puts. That's not something I'll alert. Um, but yeah, spy looks pretty bullish if we can hold. Be careful playing, Ginger. Be careful playing. I'm telling you, man, pick another ticker. Pick another ticker. Spy is not really the best to play every day because you're gonna have those consolidation days, and if you're not on top of it, like here, you're not doing you're not speed scalping, and you're not taking small profits, you're gonna get destroyed. More chance of getting destroyed on the spy, more than any other ticker, I would say, if you're speed scalping. But you could use that to your advantage. Again, it's a double-edged sword. The volatility that the SPY has, and I mean also the channel trading that the SPY has can be done pretty well. You just have to have those rules in place and really stick to them. Yeah, this was a nice breakout here on the SPY too on the 12th. That was a nice breakout. Good push up, follows that EMA 8 trend, holds it, breaks here, then you know it's done, and falls down. So you could have entered here on the confirmation break up, or I mean this would be front running again, but that would have been the riskier entry, or take the entry here on the full confirmation break up, hold as long as it's holding the EMA 8. All right, testing here, take some profits around here. You could also take some profits around here, riding the momentum. You see that it reaches the end of the Bollinger Band. Take some profits here, hold, maybe take some more profits around here as you see that it's retesting it again, so chances are looking like it's going to break down. Look at the 5 minute here, you see that the MACD is starting to point, starting to go to the sell side, RSI starting to be in the over bought area, starting to come down a little bit, so that's how you know it's going to most likely break the trend down. So I would have taken majority profits here, full confirmation breakdown, all right, out of the trade.
Yeah, I think I'm done with puts.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, don't try to play both ways. Don't try to play both ways if you're speed scalping. You're speed scalping, pick one direction, play that direction only. Um, it's too hard to play both directions speed scalping. Now, if you're going to be doing more of day trade, then yeah, you could do both directions, but I mean, generally you're gonna have a higher chance of winning if you pick one direction, be patient, wait for the entry spot that you're waiting for, or you have charted out. Once it gets there, enter, and then execute your trade according to however your plan was. When you're doing both sides, it's a little bit harder.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you have to be able to look at it from both perspectives simultaneously in a sense, and have different trade plans. So it's a little bit harder to do. I mean, even for experienced people, we don't really do that too often. I mean, if you look at Zero as well, he typically sticks to doing the larger movement. Now he may speed scalp here and there, but that's only if there's something pretty crazy happening where it's not breaking out from his level that he has, or it's breaking down from the level he has, and he wants to play it the other direction. But generally, that's not something that I recommend doing. I mean, this was a really clean move on the SPY. This could have been a very nice play to have played. Very
Like 200%.
clean. I can't even tell you what the percent would have been. Oh, this was Friday contracts, right?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a easy like probably yeah, 2 to 300%. I mean, if you entered here, yeah, that's a easy 2 to 300%. That's a pretty big move right here, especially with the momentum. You see how hard it pushed up. Momentum strong. Your contracts would have been worth more here than they would have been here most likely, or even here, just because of the momentum died or slowing down. Momentum starts slowing down here too, you can see. But yeah, this would have been a good play. So this is where charting comes in handy, guys. If you have things charted out, and you have them loaded, you have everything, your plan written down in your head or written down physically, however you want to do it. Just follow it through, execute it. Don't let the day trading or the candles during the day trip you up on your plan. As long as you have everything charted out beforehand and you know what levels are the key ones that you want to be paying attention to, you'll be straight. You'll be good to go. This was a nice support that SPY held here. It was a really nice support that SPY held here. So this would have been a very good trade actually. I'm surprised. What was I doing Friday? Oh, I had class. I was like, oh, this was a good trade.
You
This would have
grabbed
been a
those calls,
really good
pretty
trade.
sure.
Did I?
I'm pretty sure you did.
Huh. What time was this at? This was at 10:35, so this would have been 9:40 for me. Maybe. I mean, my class started at 10. Maybe. I don't know. Um, but yeah, this is a good trade right here. Like this is a very clean, very nice example of holding the support, getting a confirmation front run entry here, full confirmation entry here. Probably the safest confirmation entry would be here, but at that point you've already missed a decent amount of the movement, but you still catch a movement. But it is a safer entry. Probably I would use this as a safer entry. But yeah, very good trade. This would have been, or it was. Anything else, guys, or is that it? Because I do have to head out and get to studying. But did I answer your guys' questions well, or is there anything that you want more details on? Anything you want explained a little bit better? Again, I haven't done these in a long time, so I don't know if I didn't do a decent job or not. Be honest, let me know, and I'll try to fix it or try to do better.
Definitely cleared up a lot of entry shit.
Well, that's good. Um, Ginger, for you, I really recommend, bro, having two different chart setups. I think what's happening with you is you're mixing up your intraday and your larger time frame levels, and it's tripping you up a little bit. I don't
Yeah,
remember if you did or not, but I'm slightly recalling from one of the charts you posted. If I think you might have had too many lines or too many things clogging up your decisions. Keep it simple. Keep it very simple. Keep it easy. You don't want to confuse yourself. Like I mean this is a pretty clear trade to see, especially, I mean, from what I've taught you and stuff like that, you should be able to see this trade here. Easy. Pretty clear that this would have been a decent trade to take. Now, again, you're not going to get stuff like that every day. Like, I mean, you see here, the SPY completely held beneath its EMA 200 for the day on the 5 minute. So you see that it's creating a channel. I personally would not have traded this. I don't like trading channels like this, and I don't like speed scalping. But I mean, like, you see bottom of the channel, top of the channel, wait for it to establish. Okay, but there's a bottom again. There's a slight top, bottom, top. Now it has started to play it. I see that there's a rejection here. Okay, I'll do a little channel. Again, this is much riskier too, doing the speed scalps, because I mean you can get destroyed too. But if you're doing fast enough, you could use this intraday level here, stop loss point. Um, and the reason that Zero is able to do it so fast is because TOS is just really fast in terms of speed scalping. Enter the puts, see riding down to the bottom of the channel again, exit the puts, enter calls, and then again, the last time it did the second peak, it wasn't as high, so expect to sell around here. Bottom of the channel, enter calls again, look to get to the top of the EMA 200 again, sell. Same thing.
Can you actually share that chart with me?
Yep, no problem. There you go. Posted it in trading chat. Let me know if that works. If that doesn't work, I'll send you this version, unless that's the same version.
Oh yeah, it says we can't open this chart for you.
What about the second one that I sent you? That might work.
Uh,
It lets you click the link. It just doesn't let you interact with it. I don't know how to get it to interact.
oh, you go to you know where you like go to save the chart?
Yeah, here.
Yeah, if you oh shit, where'd it go?
Is it usually
Oh
there?
shit.
I've never shared an interactive chart. That's why I have no idea how to do it. What about from here?
The little drop down, is there a share button?
Save, autosave, load chart, new chart. No, there's no share, but I don't see one. Let's see.
Shit.
Yeah, I don't see one. Chart properties, nope. Here, I'll find out from Harmony, because I think he's done it before, and that way I'll get that out to you. Let me
Yeah.
see, sharing. Oh, maybe that's why. Everyone with the link can view and copy. Okay, try it now. Click that link again that I sent, the first one.
Okay, now it works.
Now it works. Okay, you can move it around and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And it has everything on there.
Mhm.
Fibonacci show up too.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. All right, there you go. And that should be able to set that up for you. But again, just wait for things to establish their trends, everything. Wait for things to line up perfectly. Like, I mean, even though I'm not going to speed scalp, this looks like a pretty decent speed scalper's heaven area, man. I mean, you see that it establishes the trend. I waited till here because I know that it tested the peak here, and I was able to see that, okay, it tested it once, tried to test it here. I see that this might be the bottom of the channel, this area. So this would have been a good spot for puts. Near that bottom channel, sell out, enter calls, expect not much because that second peak area was not too high. It didn't test that EMA 200. Take that, exit, wait for the bottom again of the channel test, confirmation back up candle, enter calls, look for the retest of that EMA 20, take profit either here or wait it out and take profit here. A little bit riskier to have waited it out, but yeah, you could have done that. Then expect a pullback to the bottom of the channel again. If no breakup of here, rejection of the EMA 200, which it did, come back to the channel, exit your puts. No strong movement back up because we were towards the end of the day. So not a terrible channel that it created, but again, I mean, I wouldn't have traded that. That's just not like what I personally
Right.
like trading. Um, let's see. Oh, this is a good example of riding an EMA down. You see that it
Yeah. Just held
respected
it
the
the whole
EMA
time.
220 pretty strong. EMA 8 rode it down all the way. Never broke up above that EMA 20. EMA 20 breakup, yeah, you could have entered calls. Yeah, you would have gotten a little bit, not really much. Was that towards the end of the day? Oh, then I wouldn't have entered calls. Never mind. This one doesn't really show me if it's end of the day or that clear. Yeah, this was end of the day. Okay, then never mind. I wouldn't have entered calls. But yeah, you basically have no confirmation up, so you could have played puts all day down. Just held the puts from the top. Intraday levels would have been using this area basically for confirmation back up, but you never got it. So MACD was pointing down the entire time. This is where I would have looked at the larger time frames on this day. I don't know why this is being super slow, but I would have looked at the larger time frames here to indicate if there was going to be a further. What just happened? There we go. To see if there was going to be any attempt of a bounce or not. And I mean, it's pretty clear on the 15 as well as the 5 that it's just a clear downtrend there. Let's take a look at the 30 minute. 30 minute, not so much. Not so much of a clear. Wait, is this even the same spot? Aye. Yeah, I think it's the same spot. Not so much of a clear indication of a downtrend here, but that 15 and 5 minute, because again, we're scalping. We're looking for it on the smaller time frame movements. It would have been a clear downtrend indicator. And yeah, that is about it, folks. Well, hope that was helpful to you guys in any way. I don't know if that was very helpful, but I hope it was. Any questions before I head out? Alex, Ginger, Nick,
Be,
Sean?
more of this?
Sorry?
Will there be more sessions like this?
Oh yeah, I mean I don't mind doing them. It's just that I need time. I used to do them a lot. I used to do them almost every week, I think, or almost every other week, when I wasn't in school or too heavy with exams. So I'll try to do at least one a month, at the bare minimum. Um, But otherwise, yeah, that's basically the best that I can do at the moment with all my exams and stuff going on, in addition to giving you guys the alerts and then charting everything. Just not much time available for me. But again, you're always free to ask me any questions in the trading chat, DM, and I'll do my best to get back to you. And then if you need a chart for something, you can always just, shoot me a message for the chart. I don't mind sending you the chart either.
Sounds great.
No problem.
Pretty happy with your server so far, man. That's all I gotta say.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. How long ago did you join, Alex?
Um, since it was still the original price, what was it, $10 a month?
Oh man. Oh, you an OG,
Well, I've been
huh?
around for a while. Yeah,
Well, so you've seen it progress, huh?
yeah. It's
I
very
came a
different.
long way, right? We've come a very long way, man.
Yeah,
From the way that this server used to be, from where it is now, long way,
oh,
man. Well,
for
glad to
sure.
hear that you've been with us for this long. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate your help and support.
All I can say is I don't plan on leaving anytime soon either.
My man, my man. All right, guys. Hope you guys had fun. Hope you guys learned something from this. I'll catch you guys later this week. I do have an exam on Tuesday, so I won't be here for Tuesday majority of the day as the schedule that I have posted in my channel. I think I pinned it, so there. That way you guys have my schedule there. That way you guys know when to expect alerts from me. And to see when I'm watching the market. But otherwise, I'm usually almost always, except for in lab and obviously not in exams, able to see the swings and stuff that we're currently in and be able to give you guys updates on that. And yeah, well, that's about it. Oh,
Cool. Thank
Lotto Ant, you joined late.
I was at the movies, bro.
You good, my man? What's poppin'?
Just chilling again for next week.
My man, my man.